Nearly 24 people facing charges after a major drug trafficking bust in Orange County. It involves 3 North Carolina colleges and universities, App State, Duke, and UNC. CBS 17's Bridget Chapman joins us live at UNC in Chapel Hill. Bridget, what have you found?
America always believed its college campuses were protected. Small pockets of liberty, dreams, and young energy where the harshest reality anticipated was a failing mark or a missed deadline. But everything came crashing down just before sunrise, precisely at 4:12 a.m. when one of the most extensive federal operations in American history descended upon college grounds. FBI and DEA tactical units operated with military-grade precision, launching a synchronized nationwide sweep that revealed an enormous student-operated narcotics network concealed within dormitories, dining halls, libraries, and campus leadership quarters. This wasn't some small-scale party raid. This was the dismantling of a completely operational smuggling infrastructure running between states with the organization of a cartel.
Say they busted a massive college drug ring in North Carolina, one that was pumping cocaine, LSD, and other dangerous narcotics onto the campuses at Duke, UNC Chapel Hill, and Appalachian State. Investigators say they arrested more than 20 what they called hardened drug dealers, many of them current or former students who were operating out of fraternity houses.
All orchestrated by students who were seated in lecture halls just hours before the operation. Families, university officials, and even security personnel were completely unaware that a catastrophe was approaching. What federal investigators uncovered afterward stunned the whole country. The probe didn't begin with intelligence from a confidential source. It started with a loss, a silent overdose within a first-year residence hall in the Midwest. The toxicology findings were unlike anything operatives had encountered. The student had succumbed to 90% pure fentanyl, chemical signature identical to shipments sent straight from Mexican super laboratories. Within weeks, comparable overdoses emerged in Oregon, Florida, and Texas. Retry.
Nearly 24 drug trafficking arrests involving students at 3 local colleges in North Carolina, App State, Duke, and UNC Chapel Hill. The huge operation involved more than $1.5 million worth of drugs, ranging from marijuana, cocaine, to pills. CBS 17's Bridget Chapman getting answers and found out this investigation spanned several years.
In Pennsylvania, separate states, separate universities, but an identical chemical fingerprint. Federal specialists started assembling the pieces, and what they discovered horrified them. A student-to-student drug corridor that extended across hundreds of miles. These weren't cartel operatives or gang affiliates concealed behind textbooks. They were dean's list students, engineering scholars, full-ride athletes, and even campus leadership representatives. Students who merged seamlessly into the academic environment while trafficking dangerous narcotics beneath the surface. FBI digital investigators discreetly infiltrated encrypted student communication channels, private networks, and concealed profiles. Within, they discovered coded correspondence camouflaged as academic material.
Thanks for joining us at noon. I'm Sam Shocker. Today, DEA Rocky Mountain talked about yet another large drug bust, this time involving hundreds of pounds of meth.
The study bundle indicated 50 tablets. Team assignment indicated a major delivery. The campus center meeting at 9 indicated a handoff spot. The operation was ingenious, not through brutality, but through concealment. Students instinctively transport backpacks constantly. Students journey home during breaks and vacations. Students relocate between states each academic term. They stay connected non-stop, utilizing encrypted applications, and nobody questions them. The distributors didn't slip across borders transporting narcotics. They managed the individuals and supply chains that utilized campus existence as the ideal disguise. They constructed a supply network that operated through residence halls, fraternity houses, university gatherings, and student enterprises. By early April, the proof reached a tipping point. Operatives tracked over $6.7 million in unlawful transfers through student transaction platforms, cryptocurrency accounts, and campus organization funds. They captured communications connecting the operation to Mexican contacts who deliberately recruited students because they were transient, untraceable, and above suspicion. The DEA understood that this wasn't minor college distribution. This was a nationwide criminal syndicate. A federal authorization was issued for the largest multi-campus operation in contemporary history. The assignment was designated Operation Clean Slate, and its deployment was coordinated across 14 states at precisely the same moment. 4/12 a.m. college campuses that were quiet seconds earlier abruptly transformed into federal tactical zones. Black SUVs advanced earlier this week. Retry.
The people responsible, including a kingpin in Mexico, now face a 15-defendant federal indictment. Wiretaps, undercover operations, extensive surveillance, and swift enforcement action led to enormous seizures in this case.
The DEA says this case is connected to both the Sinaloa and the Jalisco cartels in Mexico. Later today on 9 News at 4, investigative reporter Jeremy Hajola explains more about this bust and how it all unfolded.
Drones circled above residential buildings. Operatives wearing FBI and D tactical gear advanced in coordinated formations. Corridor surveillance captured officers entering dorm rooms as shocked students stood with their arms elevated. In one California university, operatives discovered a hidden storage space behind a fraternity's underground wall holding 11 pounds of methamphetamine. 38 counterfeit identifications, multiple encrypted devices, and a record book outlining distribution spanning 6 states. At a Texas college, a supposed campus wellness club was revealed as a financial laundering operation. In Pennsylvania, a mathematics instructor who assisted students with calculus assignments also managed financial transfers for the entire operation. The magnitude was beyond anything operatives had anticipated. By daybreak, the final count astonished the country. 214 students detained, all facing charges of trafficking, conspiracy, or financial laundering. Their booking photographs displayed on numerous monitors inside a federal operations center looked like typical students, young people dressed in hoodies, backpacks, and athletic jerseys. But beneath the typical appearance was a framework engineered to replicate legitimate commercial operations. Operatives later stated that the infrastructure they exposed resembled less a student ring and more a corporate supply empire. Some students functioned as couriers, others were handlers, packagers, or bookkeepers. A few upper-level coordinators interacted directly with cartel contacts utilizing encrypted international servers. The financial pathway was even more alarming. Students cleaned funds through campus organizations, student government budgets, technology ventures, and even educational grants. One student collective that secured a $40,000 innovation award was actually channeling money to cartel providers internationally. Transactions flowed through Venmo, Cash App, cryptocurrency, and PayPal. Utilizing coded descriptions, disguised as educational expenses or textbook purchases, the operation even exploited student meal cards to hide small-scale transactions. Financial experts eventually traced more than $2 million discreetly transferred through student-managed dummy accounts, confirming that the traffickers weren't simply distributing drugs. They were constructing an integrated monetary infrastructure inside universities. The most unsettling revelation emerged from captured communications exposing the cartel's approach. Mexican providers deliberately recruited students because students journey freely, escape suspicion, and organically traverse state boundaries. They converted the U.S. college framework into an unmonitored transport network. Inexpensive workforce, convenient transportation, minimal danger. The cartel didn't breach universities. Students welcomed them through cryptocurrency platforms, encrypted applications, and urgent economic pressures. Academic pressure, student loans, and social media environment generated the ideal conditions for manipulation. As information circulated, families overwhelmed campuses seeking explanations. Faculty were astonished. Students sobbed as peers were arrested. University administrators rushed to publish declarations expressing disbelief and collaboration. But the federal statement was unmistakable. This wasn't an error or an isolated operation. This was widespread, and it was only stage 1. Electronic proof suggested that more than 600 additional students had peripheral participation, neither through dealings, correspondence, or coordination. Federal departments clarified that further detentions could materialize. Throughout the nation, responses were intense. Some maintained that the enforcement was necessary and long overdue. Others claimed the operations were excessively forceful, arguing that numerous students were coerced or uninformed of the network's deeper affiliations. Demonstrations ignited at multiple campuses, with students carrying placards demanding accountability and change. Meanwhile, mourning relatives of overdose casualties demanded stricter consequences. The division emphasized a devastating new actuality. America's educational infrastructure had silently transformed into a frontline combat zone in the narcotics conflict. But beyond the fury and sentiment, one reality remained inescapable. Operation Clean Slate revealed how profoundly narcotics, financial laundering, and cartel power had integrated themselves into scholarly existence. The threat wasn't beyond campus boundaries. It was inside residence halls, lecture rooms, dining facilities, and student organizations. And federal departments weren't prepared to allow it to expand any further. In the concluding media conference, an FBI representative issued a declaration that resonated throughout the nation. Our campuses will not be protected territories for criminal operations. We will restore them, one enforcement at a time. This wasn't simply a raid. It was a watershed moment. It's a boundary established in the ground and the commencement of a new phase of action on America's college campuses.